All right. All right. Hey, Caleb, seeing some more familiar faces jump on. Hopefully the screen continues to fill up here. Super excited to be. I don't think I'm going to be doing much talking today. I kind of want to listen and hear some of the stories of ISFSI in the old days and how things have evolved over the years and things like that. It looks like we're going to have a fantastic cross section of members from over a long period of time on here today. So welcome everybody to the 60th anniversary special edition of the ISFSI Monthly Happy Hour. Very, very happy that everybody joined us. Hey, Matt. And hopefully some more continue to filter on here. I don't, in present company, I don't want to make it sound like 60 is old or anything, but like, 60s, that's pretty impressive. That's a pretty good run for any organization. And I couldn't be more proud to be part of ISFSI. For those that are tuning in that are wondering who's this young kid talking, my name's Brad French. I'm a captain out in Dayton, Ohio. ISFSI has meant the world to me over the past 6 or 8 years, just getting to be involved in a lot of different things, getting to serve as a board member and teaching a lot of the programs. And so I get it. I have lived the experience of what ISFSI can mean in a person's career and the influence it can have in someone's career, that I have the ability to network with folks of the caliber of those that are involved in the ISFSI has been probably the most key piece of my professional development in my career. So I'm thrilled to be here, and I'm thrilled to see so many familiar faces on here. So we don't really have a structure to this, Lee, unless we do, and I don't know about it. It's just kind of a get together and chit chat about ISFSI and all the things that we've gone through over the years. So Lee, maybe you could kick us off. Can you give us a little bit of organizational history and kind of take us down the path from a little bit of inception to where we are?
Well, I really will just speak to the last 12 years that I've been with ISFSI and a little bit about my story and the people who got me to where I am with you guys today. I've made a career out of association management and fell into the grasp of ISFSI when Eddie Buchanan was kind of crowned president of the organization during a time where they were ready to kind of breathe just a little bit of new fresh air into it. I think everybody knows some history from past time, and Miss Vicki Pritchett, who's on the call now, her and Shane Ray, who I'll let her tell her story, but the old story of the U-Haul truck that pulled up in Stafford, Virginia and headed south on I-95 is a true story. So I came in several years after that happened, and have a lot of wonderful memories about the organization. We've obviously come a long way in terms of not only just membership growth, but just relevancy in the fire service, in terms of the value that we bring not only to the American firefighter, but our international firefighters. I have some favorite stories. My favorite two I'll share today. These are stories and things that happen behind the scenes that no one ever hears about because we don't want you to know them sometimes. But I'll never forget when Miss Vicki and Eddie B said, "We're bringing you to FDIC. We're going to get a booth at FDIC. We haven't had a booth at FDIC in years and years and years, and you're going to do it. And 40,000 firefighters is what you can expect to see there, and they're going to be floating by this booth and overwhelming." And what do? I go out and I order 40,000 freaking notepads to give away as gifts. 40,000 notepads. Do you know how many boxes it takes to get 40,000 shipped? More importantly, do you know what the bill was for the handling fees from Greedy as they delivered all these boxes to the ISFSI booth? So
are we handing out to all the participants today?
We gave out those stupid things for years. I mean, I could not get rid of them. That was crazy. So needless to say, that was my first experience at FDIC. Had a lot of amazing ones since then. I've done 10 FDICs. I'll be doing my 11th in this year. I would say that that's, that's really the time that I get to put faces and names together, where I get to enjoy the camaraderie and the friendships that I've built on the backside of the operational side of things. And then, of course, probably one of my favorite memories was working to have the ISFSI represented at the 9/11 race, the Richmond Raceway, on the back of the Shell Oil. And I've got it here, but Shell Oil represented us in Joey Logano's car, and we got the ISFSI logo put on the spoiler. And just because they were proud of the things we were doing, and it was just a kind of a recognition that we were doing things right, and it was being recognized on a global scale, and the feel good that has for our membership is irreplaceable. So those are kind of two of my favorite ISFSI stories.
Well, that's awesome. And so I'm kind of curious. We're getting a few folks on here. I want to figure out who's been a member of ISFSI the longest. Who's been who's thinks they may be in contention, and then we'll kind of have to kick it around a little bit and see if we can figure it out. Ron, maybe.
My money's on Ron Hopkins.
All right.
Jack's been around for a while too, though.
True.
Ron, when did you become involved in ISFSI, and what drew you in, and what's been your experience over the years? Oh, Ron, you're still muted.
I was thinking about that just a little while ago, and I'm not exactly sure when I did join. It was in the days when FDIC was held in Memphis. I came to Eastern Kentucky University in 1983, and I want to say by 84, 85, I was a member. Member of the college section, college instructor section, and we were one of the smaller ones, but we banded together, and I was put on the board. And so the rest of it has just been a great time. And I think that the organization has grown substantially, and they're taking what was started and making it better. And for that, I commend you all.
Ron joined ISFSI March 18th, 1977.
Oh, wow.
All right, Jack, it's your chance. Can you top that?
No, sir, not me. My story's a little bit different. I started in the business in 1972 and retired from active service around 1997, and didn't really start instructing until 2000. So I know I didn't join until sometime after 2000. I'd have to look up what year it was.
2011.
There you go. I'm a newbie.
I want to hear some more. There's some other faces on here that I did not personally had the opportunity to meet, but I kind of want to hear about. Jeffrey Betts, what's tell me about yourself and what's your involvement with ISFSI, and how long you've been involved in this stuff.
Jeff, you're unmuted, but for some reason your audio is not coming through.
Oh, it doesn't work, I think he said. Yay. Okay, that's okay. Hey, Chief Van Dorp just suggested a great idea, which is that each speaker can kind of pick the next. I kind of like that, so you don't have to listen to me yak. Jack, why don't you pick somebody else on the screen and have them tell about their journey in ISFSI and what it's meant to them.
I think Mary's always got good stories. I'd like to hear what she's got to say.
I don't remember when I actually started joining ISFSI, but I have been here BL and AL, which means before Lee and after Lee, and it's made a huge difference having Lee's consistency and just knowing how to organize a group, and it allows us then to change our the board, but still have a steady flow. So first of all, I would say that's made the biggest difference in the years before I was on the board. And I don't know, I don't really, one of the stories, this is a fun story. Soon after I joined the board, we had a retreat at the National Fire Academy for the board. And while we were on the retreat, Lee and one or two other people got caught in that corridor that joins the second floor of the J building, and doors on both sides locked. And there was this group of people in the class who were stranded, and I don't know if we had cell phones in those days. I don't remember, Lee, how you guys got out of it, but it was a pretty funny scene, a pretty funny story.
Yeah, it definitely took us a while to get out, and I'm pretty sure y'all made all kinds of life-changing decisions for the organization while we were locked inside, for sure. So Mary first joined in 1997, and then had some time where she lapsed and came back and forth, but she was a past board member of the organization. And not only did she contribute as a board member, but she has stayed incredibly active after her board involvement in terms of helping us elevate the level of education that we're providing to our members. So we can't thank you enough for believing in us, sticking with us, and continuing to just be a contributor well past your time of service as a board member. That doesn't happen often. I think a lot of times you'll see board members transition off and they kind of just go about their way, but we've been very blessed to have a lot of board members stay involved.
Well, thank you, but it's because, I'm still teaching and training, and this is still just a fantastic resource for staying professionally updated, I suppose. Since I'm not a firefighter anymore, then it's helpful to me to be hearing the bigger picture here. So, and the other thing that I think was really valuable was that conference, the retreat that we had, because it helped us learn the real responsibilities of being a board member. It was kind of a wake-up call, I thought, and I thought that was quite valuable. And I suppose some of those lessons have, been passed down in some form or another to the subsequent boards of directors. So can I call on somebody else now? All right, Stephen Schaefer, I don't know you, so I'd like to hear about you and your experiences with ISFSI.
So I'm a relatively newcomer to the organization. It started when I was promoted deputy. So I've been on the fire service almost 31 years now. I was promoted to deputy chief in 2018, and I was made chief of the training division, not having really any other experience in training other than attending training. And it was a kind of a steep learning curve for me. But one of the things I did was bring in the ISFSI Understanding Basement Fires program. I don't remember exactly how that came about, but a couple of instructors came up to Boston. We hosted one of the seminar they had, and shortly thereafter, Lee sent me an email saying, "Well, so now that you've seen us in action, how about joining?" So I did, which I think has been beneficial, but it's only been a few years, and I am now no longer in charge of training out in the field in one of the suppression divisions, but I understand from my brief time the importance of training really to the whole enterprise, and still keep my hand in it, and still I want to improve my understanding of training and my ability to. I don't deliver training myself much. I'm not an instructor. I don't even have my firefighter 1 and 2, believe it or not. They didn't give such things out when I came through, and I'm not grandfathered, and I'm actually taking the written exam next weekend. The practical, I don't know, my shoulder is not in good shape, but anyway, I think that I understand the importance of delivering quality training, and I think it's very helpful to be involved with ISFSI to keep up with that. So that's it in a nutshell.
The great story about Chief Schaefer is true. I did bug the heck out of him after we delivered our program up there. And not only did he champion his own individual membership, but Boston became one of the very first large department memberships that ISFSI ever got. So they actually are a large department membership. They actually now bring us up about once, if not twice a year, to deliver our live fire fixed facility training program to their instructors. And he has continued to kind of hold the torch for us there within his department, even though he's long past his time within the training division. So like I said, I mean, it kind of just takes one person experiencing the amazing things that we're doing for them to keep carrying that torch for us. I'm not going to tell a story about all of you, I promise.
All right, Steve, pick another name out on here.
All right, sure. Well, let's see. Matt Hoppel, I haven't seen you on one of these that I remember, so tell us about yourself. What's your line?
All right. Well, my tenure with currently I serve on the board of directors for ISSFI. I got involved with ISSFI when a ways back at FDIC when I crossed paths with Eddie Buchanan, and the rest was history from there. It was out of the class that he delivered, and obviously always learned how to be a better instructor. I was just starting to get into the training world, and he was my first introduction to this society, and the rest took off from there. And the whole reason for sticking around and being part of the society and moving up through the different opportunities I've had within the society is just the networking, the awesome people that are members of this organization, and at the drop of a phone call can help you out anytime. A lot of people on this call today are my mentors, have been my mentors through my career, even though one of them retired on me just recently. Tony, I think I know you know who that is, but yeah, that's what it's about. It's about helping each other, and it's awesome just to get on here and be able to bend each other's ears and be better instructors. It's something I've always wanted to be through my entire career. And I had a lot of growing to do when I started this society, and I just feel it's brought me a long ways. So I'm very fortunate to be part of this team.
All right, Chief, you're up. Pick somebody else.
All right. Well, I'm just going to pick Tony.
Hey, he's claiming it's being boring, so come on, Tony, liven it up.
No, this is not boring. I was responding to Jason. He asked me, he chatted with me in private, and I don't know how to change my settings. So at any rate, this is not boring. No, but this is my second podcast today, so I was hoping I was going to get a break, But ISFSI, it's always kind of been like I've wanted to join for years. It's one of those things where I need to join that, and you never get around to it. And I wrote an article years ago that I sent to Eddie B for the prop shop in the newsletter. This was probably 90s, in the 90s, and that was when Chief just went to Arizona somewhere, was the president. Anyways, he was the president, and he didn't print my article. So I kind of got, oh well, I don't want to join those guys. So I never really made the connection until I went to a fall conference in Knoxville, and what a great time that was. I mean, it was nice. It was small. It was you got to really really hang out with the guys at night. You got to meet them and talk to them directly in the daytime. And then that was really kind of what solidified it. Then I got onto the one of the UL tech panels with Steve Pegram, and Steve was like, "Hey Tony, you need to get more involved." So that's what happened. Fortunately, I guess some of the members like what I'm doing because they elected me to be a board member, and now I'm back for another term with the as an at-large board member. So I think it's it's important that we do this. It's frustrating that we don't have a huge membership, that we can't seem to get everyone to buy into what what we're doing. and spend that money. But I know that, you know, everybody's pulling for our attention. And if they all could be here today and see this, you know, how long the history is, what kind of connections we make. You know, we're far and wide. We got Boston, we have Montana, we have everything on here. So that would be I think what could kind of sell it for everybody. But I mean, it's their loss, right? I advertised it today when we did our Wednesday Hump Day Hangout. Told them we were having a happy hour to talk about our anniversary. And I know that there's some that were on that are here. So I recruited them for that. Now they're here for this. So this is good. But again, some faces I haven't met before. That's cool to see. Ron, was that 77? That's pretty cool. I joined the fire service in '82, and that was a great time. And I wish we could again kind of capture that and bottle it and show the new guys what was going on back then. But that's it. Let me go with Jason, so that maybe he won't keep messaging me and I won't text everybody.
All right, thanks, Tony, and I'll echo Matt's sentiments that Tony and Pete and others in the room have really been inspirations to a lot of us. My path might be a little bit different. I started with ISFSI, I don't know, 5-6 years ago, when I got a text message from Devin asking if I would do a presentation to the board about some international relationship stuff. And from then it grew to becoming a board member last year, and that was a very honoring experience. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to continue because of other requirements or demands on my time, but thanks, Peter, for that opportunity, and Lee for that opportunity. I think ISFSI, I think the big thing that most all of us gain from this is the lessons from the folks that have been here before. So the Shane Rays, the Tim Sendelbecks, the Vicky Pritchett's, all of those folks, the Eddie Buchanan's, all those folks laid a groundwork of serving the fire service unconditionally. And I think if any of us are looking to carry that tradition forward, that would be the biggest lesson that we could all do is welcome all the new folks. I look at Caleb, and I think Caleb joined because we sent him a link. Caleb's just about an hour away from us here, and we sent him a link as a new training officer. I said, here's people that can help. And I hope when I pass the ball to him in a second that he will acknowledge the fact that as a new training officer, the ISFSI gave him a wealth of people to call that have different levels of experiences with different organizations, and really provided him an opportunity to grow. So above and beyond all the wonderful programs that the organization provides, the networking and the experience and the personal relationships that have been built from the past all the way to today are what ISFSI is about. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of it. I know you like the money, but it's really more of a privilege to be a part of the group, and it's my honor. So Caleb, being one of the younger guys on the group, I'm going to throw it to you.
Awesome. So yeah, as Chief Coy said, I joined about a year ago, a little over a year ago now. And honestly, I was a little bit hesitant about joining because my main priority moving with my job is to make sure that my guys were ready to go out the door anytime that the tones dropped. And I wasn't 100% certain that this organization was going to do that for me or be a good use of my time. And then I spent like 5 minutes in a happy hour one day, and I was like, holy shit, these guys really know what they're doing. And I really don't. So then everybody put up with my questions and my badgering people and asking everything. And it's been, it was like this last year was like my probie year all over again, with me being a training officer for the first time. And it's like having some really good senior firefighters that have been through it and really helping me along the way. So it's been truly incredible. I'll go ahead and pass it to Norm.
Good afternoon, Norm.
Hey, Norm, I'm going to cut you off. Norm, I just want you to know I set you up. So I
figured
okay.
you did.
Norm's a buddy of mine. He might be the newest member to the organization, period, because he just joined in the last month or so. So go ahead, Norm, it's all yours.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, I'm brand new to the organization. I think I signed up a couple weeks ago. I've been in the fire service since '95 with Palatine Fire Department just outside Chicago. I am a company officer, do a lot of training there. However, I'm looking to move into the role of training officer within my department, hopefully in the very near future. So I've just been looking for a lot of different resources to refresh and understand the role and be able to teach. And I feel like I'm starting the fire service all over again, to be honest with you, as I look to try to figure out how to train the guys and be the best training officer I can be. So I was listening to a podcast and listened to Chief Van Dorp talk about the society. And so I looked it up and signed up that day. So here I am. I'm looking forward to the resources, the networking, and reaching out to a bunch of you folks and hopefully get really involved with the society. So thank you very much for having me.
Awesome, Norm. Thank you and welcome. I'm gonna interject here for a little bit and break up the popping around for a little bit, because we would be remiss if we didn't go over to Miss Vicki Pritchett for some historical context on ISFSI and all that she's meant to the society over the years. So Vicki, tell us a little bit about your journey with the society in the early days until now.
Well, thank you, Brad. I was just looking back. I was like, I wonder if I can find those documents. And sure enough, everybody makes fun of AOL mail. Well, when you had it from the beginning of the internet, baby, it's still there. All those messages right there. So it was 2003 when I did make the trip to Stafford, Virginia. And y'all are right. There were, it was actually a Hertz Penske truck. And Chief Ray and I traveled up there. I actually went out ahead of the move. Just let me back up a couple of weeks and did a day in the life and shadowed the workers who were there in the office. And I came back and he's going to come get me. He heard me talking and he said, I got to come say hi to these people. We're walking down memory lane, Chief Ray.
Gotcha.
So Ron Hopkins has won the award for the longest time member. Joined in 1977. So, but anyway, I came back. I'll never forget it. I presented the assessment, and that's what I was just reviewing, and basically said we're belly up if we don't do something. So in typical Shane Ray fashion, he devised a plan. And we did rent a Hertz Penske truck, and he and I went, and we get there, and I don't know who we thought was we were on the second floor. And so they had more file cabinets and tables and crap than you could ever imagine. And Shane's like, oh, no problem. We'll just go down to the fire department. There'll be plenty of people who'll come help us. Well, Shane, tell them how much help did we find?
You're looking at the help. Look at Ron, there's Jack.
Yeah, I want you to see everybody.
Look at all these fine faces.
There's Devin.
Yeah. Things all here. Yeah. Well, I'm happy to be part still. Look at Mary. It's been a long time since I've seen some of you all. So it's good to see you. And little did you know too that outside of Ron over there hooking me in college though, but Dan Jones and them hooked me into being in the board after the bankruptcy, and it was right over here. Little did I know I'd live right down the street from where it happened, because we used the Maritime Institute for one of the fall conferences. And the Maritime Institute's right across the interstate over here from where our office is today. So how do you know where you're going to be 20 years from now? So, but thank you all for being here. Thank you for letting me step in.
And I think the thing that has always resonated with me, Jim Dalton is who hired us at the National Fire Sprinkler Association. And JD goes way back with the ISFSI, was active and involved, served as a board member, would tell stories to Shane and I about, from Memphis to Cincinnati, and, just had all of that wealth of knowledge. And certainly with Chief Ray being on the board, the appreciation for the past and the legacy. And I'll remember when we were brainstorming and I made a note where the instructors are. That is something that I think Shane and I can probably claim that happened in that period of transition. And the one thing that kept just jumping out at me is that what made this organization so unique and so awesome, and as we celebrate 60 years, I think it's important to pause and remember this, is it is unique in that it exists for the instructors. And the other fire chief that played a big role in both Chief Ray and myself's life is Alan Brunicini. And Chief Brunosini absolutely loved the ISFSI. And, you know, he would, one of the things that, and there's so many Brunoisms, but he was such a lifelong learner, and he wanted to make sure that everybody understood the value of lifelong learning, continual learning. And the thing that he would say over and over is nobody makes it alone. And I think that's one of the things that Chief Brunosini celebrated about the ISFSI. It's a means. And as I hear you talk about from the newest member who has just joined in the past year to someone who's been a member for years and years and can share some of those stories from the beginning days, there is so much good in an organization that brings together people who help continue learning for others, and add the fire service in that, and it just doesn't get any better than that. So definitely a milestone year for the organization, and we couldn't celebrate. As I read that assessment, though, Shane had it broken down what it was costing. It was costing us $41.25 per copy to mail the voice to each member. And, you know, I'm sitting here laughing and I'm like, yeah, and he lays off everybody that they paid to do it. And guess who did it? I'm like, remembering those. And Tim Sindelback, before he was the editor of Firehouse, he was serving as editor of The Voice. I mean, there's just so many rich and vibrant stories. And I guess from a standpoint of watching the ISFSI shine, and it still continues today, when the Congressional Fire Services Institute gathers annually in Washington, D.C., it's so neat to see the ISFSI still at the table and still able to be a big part of that. And I guess that's what I'm proudest of. Eddie Buchanan, Chief Ray, Sindelback, Devin Wells, I saw you on here. There's just so many people have played a part, and it just does my heart good, Brad, to see y'all doing this and keeping on, as Chief Brunosini would say.
Thank you so much, Miss Vicki, and Chief Ray, thank you for joining us as well. It's so awesome to see everybody on here, and that's always been one of the things that stuck out to me about the society, right? Is we've never been an organization for trinkets and stuff like that, right? It's not about what kind of pens you can get and different things like that. It's truly a membership-driven organization. It's the relationships that you build. It's the resources that you share. It's those intangible things that make the ISFSI what it is. If you sign up for ISFSI to get a backpack with a logo on it, you're in the wrong spot. That's
we do sell them.
Well, you might. Okay.
And y'all do have some really cool little giveaways for board members and such. Some of my favorite gifts have come from Lee. The Tervis cup, the little Lands End bag. I'm telling you, I use them all still to this day. So thank you, Lee.
You're welcome.
No, absolutely. And I think you all understand what I'm trying to say. I mean, right over here in my office at work, I've got a challenge coin board that has a big ISFSI logo on it. But the point is, it's about the people and it's about the connections that we make. And I think ISFSI does that better than anybody else. So, Miss Vicki, why don't you call on somebody else, pick on somebody else to chat for a while.
All right, let me see here. Who do I want to pick on? Devin Wells, I'm going to pick on you. Hey, how's things in Washington, Oregon, that beautiful coast?
It's very beautiful, and for some reason I knew you were going to pick me, but that's all right. Things are going good out here in Oregon, so I've been on the board. I think I've been a member since about 2006 or so, and as been said multiple times, Shane and Vicki were huge parts of me joining the board, and Tim. I actually went to one of Tim Sindelback's classes and was super impressed by it. And he said he mentioned the ISFSI, and I thought, oh, that's cool. That's what I'm doing right now as a training officer. I was in 2006, somewhere around 2005. Sent me an email and said, how can I get involved? And he hooked me up with a guy I'd never heard of. His name was Eddie Buchanan. Never knew who he was. Hooked me up with him, and in 2006, I got the small little task given to me of being in charge of developing a test bank for fire engineering's new Fire 1 and Firefighter 2 curriculum. That ended up being a year and a half worth of work. I think Mary was involved in that. I know she wrote some chapters. There's a couple other people that wrote some chapters. But through that experience, I then started working with the society with Tim and with Vicky and with Eddie and Shane. And I ran for a board position in 2008. And I think at that point, that's kind of history at that point now. It's 13 years later, and I've only got about a year left on the board as a past president. And it's been a pretty awesome ride. You know, I remember those times we went to the fire academy and had our retreats there, and the different fall conferences we've had, the technology conferences, and the society since I've been on, which honestly has only been 14, 15 years since I've been a member, it's a completely different society now. It's amazing the strength that the society shows and getting invited to the tables, and it's been a very cool opportunity for networking. I honestly, back then, I was an assistant chief training officer guy from a little teeny town in Oregon that you don't really know about unless you're a windsurfer or a kiteboarder or you know the fruit industry. That's about the only reason you know where Hood River's at. And the society's given me the opportunity to learn so many things about instructing and about the fire service in general, and connect with an amazing number of people, be able to teach classes all over the country, into Canada. I got the opportunity to go overseas to Amsterdam and meet a great friend of mine over there now. It's on a board. It's on the society board now also. Just the opportunities that the society has provided for me are countless, and I'm forever in debt to that for what it's done for my fire service career and continues to be. I'm not a full-time paid fire chief anymore. I resigned to that, got back to my family farm, but I'm still a volunteer and still teach classes, and it's great to be able to help the new instructors that are coming into our departments here in the county and wherever else I may interface with people. So too many people to list about saying thanks, but man, it's been an amazing ride and it's been super fun. And man, I don't see the trajectory decreasing. I think it's going to continue to soar. I think that society is a front runner in the United States Fire Service, and I think we have an opportunity to become more involved internationally also. And I think it's starting to happen, and it's great to see that. And I'm super excited about seeing where it goes. So.
I want to hear a little bit from one of the unsung heroes, one of the ones that's behind the scenes making a lot of stuff happen for a lot of years and doesn't always get a lot of limelight. Jamie, are you on here?
Yes, I am.
Jamie, we all know, anybody that's been involved in any of the programs or has been a board member knows how much you do behind the scenes to make the society go along, and at least as long as I've been involved. And I can't thank you enough for everything you've done for me over the years, and I'm sure a lot of other people on here feel the same way. So tell us a little bit about your ISFSI journey.
Well, that's a funny one. So I got started with Lee because I was riding horses and she needed someone to help work with her daughter's pony. And it kind of just grew from there. Here we are, 10, 11 years down the road, and I love every minute of it. Y'all are a great crowd to work with.
So Jamie's story is I hired her because of her work ethic. She didn't have any experience. She was super young, not much out of high school, and she just had a remarkable work ethic. And I felt like, and I think Vicki can probably attest to this, as can Shane, is that we needed all hands on deck. I needed somebody that was passionate about showing up, passionate about learning the industry. Work ethic was something I couldn't teach. The industry was something I could teach. So we kind of went into it blind together. She would show up at my house. We ran it off of my kitchen table for years. We then decided, I went to my then husband and said, we don't ever use the dining room, so it's going to become ISFSI headquarters. So the dining room became transitioned, and I built a return desk so Jamie and I could face each other and collaborate in my dining room. And I'll never forget the day. Oh, and we had we were so excited when we got a storage unit, like a 10 by 10 storage unit, so we could just get stuff out. And we would go back and forth to the storage unit. And I'll never forget the day that the board approved funding for us to have store frontage, which was huge for us. We got our own offices. We hired additional staff at that point. We actually had a mail room that was really exciting for us with a postage machine. That was so cool.
It wasn't just the kitchen table.
So
or the kitchen floor.
It is hard to explain to people how this organization was at the pinnacle of its game, where Ron can tell you, you know, the founders of FDIC, back when instructor conference was really all about the instructor, and it was the it place to be. And transitioning through the history of what it went through with kind of having to have a rebirth and regrowth, and how lucky we were that there were members and friends of members who were just passionate about the fire service, and this organization held it together, all on principle, not on a financial basis, not on the fact that they were going to be having accolades down the road, all because they believed in the organization. And then the patience that these board members have had to just let it evolve the way that it's evolved as we've come back. It's humbling to have people like Ron and other past presidents who have reached out to staff and board members with their thanks and appreciation for everything that's been done. It's taken a village, really, and I can't, you know, to be sitting in the audience at the Congressional Fire Service Institute when my president is up on stage accepting an award, standing next to ULFSRI for ISFSI's key work in PMFA, and the numbers of firefighters that we have taught, that we touch all the time. It is humbling, to say the least. And you're blessed to have a staff that shows up and is excited to be here. They're excited to answer the phone. Jamie is not working today, as you can tell. She's off. She chose to be on this call because she loves what she does. So I agree with Devin. There are some remarkable things to come that are in the works. And I kind of, every day when I wake up, and everybody laughs at me, particularly in here, because they know I sleep with a sticky pad next to my bed. It's how we've come up with new, like the new logo and all kinds of stuff. Like weird things happen in the middle of the night and Lee wakes up and sticks it. And then I wake up and I look at my wall, and whatever sticky notes I have there, like that's a dumb idea, it goes to the trash, and let's put this one in the pocket, it's going to work with us today type thing. Great things are still coming.
Well, that's awesome. Well, I want to circle back to Jeff Betts. We lost him a little bit earlier on a quick technical difficulty issue, but he's back. And so, Jeff, for the youngsters like myself that have not had the opportunity to cross paths with you, tell us a little bit about yourself and what ISFSI has meant to your career.
Well, I started in 1979 as a firefighter, so I've been around a long time, but not with ISSFI. I think if Lee looks me up, she's going to see that I was a member for a year. I was gone for 2 years. I was a member for a year. I was, you know, it like every year. I think when I went to FDIC, I would renew. that was kind of my thing. I've been all the way from the bottom to the top in my fire service. I was paid on call. I moved up the ranks to an assistant chief. During that period of time, became a career guy. Moved up the ranks there to lieutenant and training officer, and that's about the time I began to interact with the society more, because I needed to reach out. I really don't like staying in my little bubble, in my little area in the Midwest here in Michigan. So I just thought it was the best place to land, honestly. Now I retired from my career job in 2016, and because I can't give it up, I joined back on my original department where I was a paid on call, and the career department as a paid on call, just to continue being involved. Yeah, so now I'm that old gray-haired mentor guy that, you know, I call them the kids, but the guys that I brought into the fire service at one point are now chiefs of the 2 departments that I work at. They're my bosses. And I think that's awesome. You know, it's humbling, but it's also pretty cool. I enjoy still teaching, so that's literally why I'm here. And I think I've got a article I'm supposed to send to Jamie like this week or next week, so that's coming.
Nice. Hey, and you know, isn't it interesting how you jokingly say the old mentor guy, but there's so much correlation between people that like to teach and those that really naturally fill those mentoring roles even in an operational sense. And that's super cool to hear. So Jeff, I'm going to kick it back to you. Pick one of the names that maybe you haven't heard from on here and kick it over to them.
Let's see here. Trying to figure out who we haven't talked to yet. How about Aaron?
All right.
Well, I got a little bit of a story, I guess. First heard about ISFSI, went out to UL Labs in Northbrook, Illinois. I was just a line firefighter seeking a lot of information. And it seemed that the Firefighter Research or Safety Research Institute was really pouring out a lot of information, and I was absorbing it as a sponge. Listening to Steve Kerber, again, it's awesome how the different organizations kind of piggyback on each other and push each other forward to help get the information out. Fast forward to 2018, I was promoted to the training captain to an organization that's relatively flat and that they're working to build out and elevate here. I came into the position and there was nothing as far as a training program had, and I had really relatively no experience as a training officer other than working with the volunteer department that I was also a part of. But with this career department, that we just had a lot of accidental success over the years. And fortunately for us, it's not been any accidents. We were okay at our job, but we weren't great. And so with a need for a lot of improvement, and then not having the resources just out of my own experience to really pour into the guys here and pour into the community here in the fire department, I was searching, and ISFSI had the training officer credential program. A gentleman, I can't remember for the life of me again who the instructor's name was, but came here to Iowa and presented that course. I took it with several people here from Iowa, and it was just really informative and really gave me a foundation as a training officer to work from. And so from that, I just decided to really engage in it, and then coming to these hangouts when I can, again, because of the responsibilities I'm part of, I don't always make it, but listening to Pete and listening to Brad French, I was able to attend the Vision 2021. Just so much information. I've been going back and watching the slide presentation on the platform. Just man, it's just a huge benefit to somebody that's starting out. And this year, one of those accidental success things is we do the live fire. Unfortunately, we don't have a fixed training facility, so a lot of donated structures. And we weren't able to find a class, but I had a couple of people that helped me with instructor here, and I was able to talk to Chief into taking them to the fixed facility burn instructor program, at least to give us some sort of foundation and some sort of idea of how we should be conducting it in a safe manner for the people that put their best foot forward here, but also make sure that we're covering our bases and make sure that we're creating as safe an environment as we can for the guys when they're training. And so I got 2 other people that were certified with their fixed facility in Iowa City, I think a month ago. And really, I just appreciate the organization. I appreciate those that, you've poured yourselves into it, not knowing where it was going to go. And I would agree with all of you that there's a bright future ahead, and I'll encourage people to engage and be part of it.
That is awesome, Aaron. That's super cool to hear, and super cool to hear that you enjoyed Vision 2021. And if I had to guess, I'll bet it was maybe Brian Ward that came out and did that training officer credential class out there in Iowa. All right, I want to hear from Kimberly.
Hello, Kimberly Paschkowski, one of the directors for ISFSI. I got involved, well, I'm involved with training with the state. I'm involved with training with multiple academies. I've been in the fire service since '96. And then I started getting involved with certain committees. So National Fallen Firefighter Foundation committees, where I met Brad French, and then Responder Forum. And I did get involved with several organizations, fire service organizations at that point. However, there was not a lot of membership involvement. You just paid your dues and that was it for the whole year, and I wanted to be more involved. So I started asking about ISFSI. I was told, like, not from ISFSI members, but it's more of like a boys club. So, you know, I don't know if that's going to be a fit for you, Kimberly. So I started going to like Responder Forum, and I started meeting the actual members of ISFSI, and and also FDIC, and oh my gosh, I've not come across anyone who has not been anything but wonderful, humbling, open door methods. They started introducing me to all the programs. I got certified with ISFSI, the live fire, and then the training officer courses. And then it came to I got on some committees and started helping out with that. And then I went for the director, just thought, why not? And I got it, which blew me away. And I really felt like the first 3 years was educational. I was sitting at the table in my world, amongst greats in the fire service. And I really just wanted to absorb the knowledge and kind of understand what path I should take with ISFSI and kind of be mentored. And that's where I'm at. So we did another election. I won a second time, and now I'm quite involved, and I was mentored quite a bit through that first 3 years. And I love ISFSI. It's by far my favorite organization I've been involved with. And I would say hugely due, not only because the members are so welcoming and there's not a line between directors and membership, but there's a lot of involvement to become a member. So I love that part of it. Thanks.
That's awesome. I know everybody on here is probably involved in a lot of the different alphabet soup organizations out there, and it's hard to beat the ISFSI and what ISFSI brings to the table. There's no question about that. Jack Wilson, can we hear from you, brother?
Yeah, once I figure out how to mute this thing. I've been a member of ISFI for a while. I've been off and on through the 90s. Then I came back again because I felt it was important to my profession to be a part of this group. There's a lot of people in this panel right now, or right now on TV here. I can see on my screen at the State Fire Academy is that I either have really close relationships with, or I've read your articles, or I've seen you at FDIC, which I attend regularly, or out and about in some type of fire service arena. I kind of stay in my state of Delaware bubble. I really think that with future things is that, like I said, I've been like Tony. Tony's one of my favorite people in this group. I hate to tell you, he's a great guy. So he's helped me out a lot here in Delaware, especially with a lot of our line of duty injuries and stuff here. And I think that's one of the persons that I've made a really good contact with. But there's other people from this group that are made good things. I said, with my 40 years of, this will be my 40th year coming up in February of the fire service, starting as a volunteer. I'm a volunteer fire chief now. I work for the State Fire Academy. I retired from the city fire department as a lieutenant in 2015. So my career, I'm a third generation firefighter. So I'm into this. It's just that I stay in the Delaware bubble. And Delaware has a lot of history with politics and stuff like that. Right now, we can't get rid of the president. He won't stay in DC. He's in lower state and he's causing problems. So what the issues are that we try to do is make sure that we stay pretty involved with the fire service stuff. And ISFI for me is one of those organizations that I think that it has some up and downs through the years. And I think it drew some people away, then brought some people back. But in the several years of the FDIC with the when you do the social hour and you have the meetings and stuff like that, I enjoy that tremendously. I love sitting in there just gabbing and talking shop and seeing what's going on around the United States with different people. I wish I could be more fluent with the group itself in there. But you have great leadership that's going on right now. I enjoy everything that's going on. I've been on a couple hump day things, or a couple of the hangouts that we do. Not a whole lot because of the time and stuff that's going on, but I truly appreciate what it does. The state of Delaware, we have used several of your programs, such as the basement fire. There's been a couple other ones that they've done here for us. We were invited to the basement fire day up in Pennsylvania and stuff like that. So we all attended that. I tried to bring some of my coworkers here at the State Fire Academy to join. I really don't know what the Delaware population is on the group, but like I said, I try to be a pretty good advocate of, trying to get instructors to do that. Sometimes I think that, like I say somebody guy talked about being the old guy in the group. I never thought I'd be the old guy anymore at 40 years and retire from a great career that I'm here. So it puts me at the Fire Academy as a program manager. So it's there. But like I said, I truly appreciate everybody on this group. Anybody that's put any time, and the stuff that you guys put out information wise is beneficial to me. And whether people want to listen to it or not, we're putting it out and trying to do the best we can with it. So I truly appreciate everybody, and I appreciate the organization. So thank you.
Thank you, Jack. All right, we're creeping towards the top of the hour here. I still want to hear from Mike, and I want to hear from Caleb. Mike, let us know about ISFSI, and then kick it over to one of the guys of the future of the ISFSI, Mr. Caleb.
Caleb talked while you were away.
Oh, we did. Oh, we already heard from Caleb. Well, I'm sorry I missed that. I got to.
Don't worry, Brad. Not a lot of people remember me.
Now, I had to step away for a second. I just got to chat with Caleb a lot out in Colorado not too long ago. So, Mike, take it away, brother.
Sure, appreciate it. Once again, like most people, I couldn't officially tell you when I started with ISFSI as a dues paying member. I distinctly remember in the mid 1990s walking into the New York State Fire Chiefs show and seeing a banner hanging above a table that said the Fire Alliance, and walking over and talking to them. And that was back in the day. So got involved at that point to some degree because I was a training officer at that point. Like most people, came and went depending on change with career or life, making other plans. Got back involved thanks to some offers to write an article and present at the conference and make a video. So I served on the board with FDSOA, another Fire Alliance organization, for a number of years, maxed out there, and basically was looking for something else to continue on, and got a hold of some folks, talked to Steve Pegram, talked to Lee, and said, hey, what can I do? That led to me jumping in on a committee, the online education committee, and trying to get some things up and running there. Next led to the professional development committee and trying to get the professional development matrix up and off the ground. At that point, Mark Davidson, a phenomenal member of ISFSI, has done a lot of great things, had to step down. I was given the opportunity to fill out the rest of his term and greatly appreciate that offer. Picked that up and started as a board member. Just ran during the last election and was reelected as a director. So also still currently serving on the professional development committee. So it's been a great last year or two opportunity to get involved and to continue to do things. And to one of my great mentors who taught me tremendous things, Ron Hopkins, thanks to him and everyone else, Vicky and everybody else that got this up and running. And thanks to everyone, Lee and everybody else through the years that's kept it running. And as someone said, there's been some rocky times, but it's back, it's running better than ever, I would hope to say, and I think there's great things in the future. So look forward to continuing to work with everyone. As everybody said, if there's anything about ISFSI, it's the networking, it's the talking, it's the down to earth, it's we can get together and hang out and chat and do really good things with each other. So thanks again for the opportunity, and thanks to everybody that laid the groundwork.
Well, thank you, Mike. So 2 things before we go. Number 1, Jack has some information that he wanted to share about Harry Carter, and then I want President Van Dorp to close us out here. Jack, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you all know, I'm sure some of you know Harry Carter. He was in a vehicle accident several months ago that led to discovery of cancer on the brain, and he's been laid up for quite a while at this point. Recently, within the last week or so, he took another fall and is now in a rehab facility and will be for a while. He's feeling very disconnected from everybody at this point, and he's actively asked for phone calls from friends just to keep him informed on what's going on and things like that, and just to have a conversation. And those of you who know Harry might want to take down this phone number. You get a chance in the next week or so, give him a call at this number and chat with him, 732-513-4643. 8457, and I'll put it in the chat box too. Harry's looking to talk to people because he's feeling a little bit down at this point.
Well, thank you, Jack.
Thanks, Brad.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jack, for sharing. Harry, Dr. Carter has meant a lot to the fire service, and that's putting it mildly. I think we all know that. Chief Van Dorp, take us home.
Okay, I'm not going to keep you all here past the appointed time more than I absolutely have to. Thank you all so much for participating. Thank you for all you continue to do for the organization. Many of you have spoken to this as you were sharing your stories. We are really, truly just getting started. Perhaps getting started once again, but we really are just getting started. The work that our members have been doing, developing the professional development matrix, the mentoring program, the quality of the programs that we get out there and teach, training, officer credential, live fire, the basement fire stuff is just, it continues to blow me away every time I'm with you guys and I see the quality of your performance and how much you contribute. Norm, we're going to prostitute you like crazy. Don't think it ain't going to happen. I'm going to have my hooks in you. Norm's a high quality guy, got a lot to contribute, and he's going to be picking a lot of your brains. So welcome to the organization. I'm glad to see you here. Hope you all have a safe weekend. What's coming up? What's the next holiday? Father's Day. Have a happy, safe Father's Day. Enjoy your summer. We'll see you next month, right? Top of the month. We'll see you again.
Ron, safe travels, and thank you.
Thanks,
everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Vicki.
Bye, y'all. Great to see everyone.